Going live. 5, 4, 3. Hi, everybody. DUGROZ here with DUGROZ Reports. Welcome to my Saturday morning live. Today is June the 8th, 2024, and I'm reporting live from my house. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you taking some time out of your Saturday morning. Hello to Jacobs Points and Profits, Tariq Gaines, Juan Garcia. Hope you're all having a great morning. Juan is a DUGROZ Diehard channel member. Let's go ahead and start today with some of our DUGROZ data points. These are things that I just find interesting from around the world of points and miles. Having some camera balance issues here today. Trying to make it where I want it to be. I think my whole monitor is crooked. That's probably the least of our concerns, so maybe I'll just stop messing with that and say good enough. We all know the big news of the week is that the Wells Fargo Attune card launched this week and kind of launched a little bit out of the blue. I was also going to mention if someone can, if you're a member of the Anthony Venture Discord, I forgot to put the link to my video in the announcements section this morning. If someone has the ability to do that, I would really appreciate it. Let's get the word out that I am available and ready to go. Let's go ahead and share my screen here, and we'll take a glance at the Attune card. This is not meant to be a comprehensive review, but we can at least talk about it a little bit. So the Wells Fargo Attune card dropped on Thursday. Just kind of, nobody knew it was coming per se. Sign-up bonus isn't that exciting. $100 on $500 to spend in 3 months. It is nice that it has no annual fee. So what does this kind of look pretty, I guess? Very pastel. Earn an unlimited 4% cash rewards on self-care, select sports, recreation, and entertainment, and impactful purchases. That sounds a little vague. It's kind of hard to say exactly what this is. So they do have a page with lots and lots of examples. I saw someone in the comments section saying this is like your perfect suburban corporate girl card. You're going to go to the gym and work out, and then you're going to go to your tanning salon, and you're going to go to the beauty parlor and get your hair done, and stop by and buy some new golf clubs or tennis rackets, those kind of things. You get 4% on all those. So it says beauty and barbershops, gym memberships, fitness studios, health and beauty spas, massage parlors. And then in the sports, recreation, entertainment category, we have artist supplies and craft shops, camera supplies, hobbies, games, photo finishing, sewing, needlework. Interesting, they specifically say the Lego store is one of them. Florists, gardening supplies, nurseries. Entertainment is like aquariums, amusement parks, billiard halls, bowling alleys, cruises, fortune tellers, dance halls, dance studios, public golf courses, recreation not elsewhere classified, sporting and recreation camps, tourist attractions and campgrounds, those kinds of things. Pet care. Well, that's pretty obvious. Pet stores are like Chewy, Rover, that kind of thing. Actually, you can find me on Rover. My kids and I are doing some dog walking this summer. Bicycle shops, boats, marinas, motorhomes, sporting goods stores like Dick's Sporting Goods. And then, of course, live entertainment, which includes StubHub visits, Vivid Seats, those kind of things. I'm sure it would include, if you go to, Wrigley Field in Chicago and watch a Cubs game, something like that. Bookstores, DVDs, motion pictures. I heard Matt Clausen say DVD stores don't exist anymore. What about Redbox? So, yeah. And then planet-friendly purchases, secondhand stuff, antique stores, buses, EV charging, local and commuter passenger trains like DART, BART, Clipper, that kind of stuff, and then passenger railways. Now, it does not avoid the foreign transaction fee. So overseas, you're going to get 4 points and then a 3% haircut. But hopefully private rail like Brightline expands in the US in the near future. So I don't necessarily think it's going to be a card that's especially impactful for me because I don't use many of those things. I do think there's some people with a outside the box use case, like, if you love golfing and you go golfing 3 or 4 times a week, 4x on public golf courses could be kind of a big deal. Or I don't know, you manage a little league team and you buy all the equipment and then get reimbursed. That could be pretty awesome. But I do think, and Matt Clausen did a video on this where he was really excited about it. It does kind of send a little bit of a message across the ethos of all the different credit card issuers, putting them on notice that uncapped 4x on certain categories is certainly possible, and even a lot of categories. Kind of reminds me of the US Bank Cash Plus a little bit. I do wonder in the future, we think of like gas stations. Will there be like EV stations? I know there's EV charging stations, but I'm thinking like, like we have a gas station, we have a Tesla station where it's not just the charging, but you can go inside and buy snacks and pops and pizza and hot dogs. And maybe they would also sell gift cards and some basic pharmaceuticals and those kind of things. In that case, yeah, this would be a big deal. Now, once that kind of thing starts happening, does the Attune pull back on that and say, we said 4x, psych, what we meant was 3x, or what we meant was 2x? All right, let's transition out of that topic. Thank you so much for joining. If you've not yet done so, please click the thumbs up button. That helps drive people here. Put a comment on the side. I'll try my best to get to all the comments, but I can't guarantee it. Anyone that has a star by their name, like John R. or Juan Garcia is a channel member, you can join as a DUGROZ Diehard. It's only $3 a month. You can cancel anytime. I just put out a members only video. Well, it's an early release yesterday, one of my philosophy videos about the Wells Fargo autograph journey card. So if you want to see things like that early, become a DUGROZ Diehard. And if there's about 30 videos that are members only and will always be members only, usually those are the inside the game, stream of consciousness, super nerdy things that I don't want the YouTube algorithm to know about. So if you want that secret info, you'll have to join. Jacob's Points and Profit says, I'm ready. My perfect cashback cards are ones that I earn as travel points so I can choose later what I want to do with the rewards. I agree, Jacob. I really like flexibility to either cash out or use transfer partners. It's nice to have those options. I should have mentioned every single day we have a theme of the day. It doesn't mean it's the only thing we're allowed to talk about, but it's sort of the main event or the main thing I cover. And today's theme is the perfect 8-card cashback wallet. So I'll be getting to that in just a little bit. Hey, John R. just dropped a $5 super chat and asked this question. How close are you to new tech, Doug? So I'll probably get my new laptop as soon as as soon as YouTube makes the next deposit into my account. It's sort of like the money I earn in March is paid in May. The money I earn in April is paid in June. So I should be getting a direct deposit around June 20th, something like that. And once I do, I should be ready to buy my new laptop. My family's going on vacation not too long after that. So just because I don't want the hassle of setting things up, I'll probably wait till we get back from Washington, D.C. and then pull the trigger on that. Thank you so much, John, for the super chat. I really appreciate your undying loyalty. You've been one of my biggest supporters. And for that, I thank you. If you want to join in, John, you can put a super chat over here or super sticker. Any amount is fine. $1, $2, $30. I wouldn't object. Excuse me. I'll come back to some of these comments about cashback cards. We get a little closer to the main event. Juan Garcia says, it seems like the Wells Fargo Tune is more geared for a lifestyle person. Yeah, I would agree with that. If you're just a suburban dad like me who sits in front of a computer all day and types and drives from your suburban home to the office once or twice a week and turns around and drives back and takes my kids to their events and activities, you're probably not going to use it a lot. But if you're big into EVs, if you're big into sports and entertainment, I might go to like a college football game every year, but I don't go to 3 or 4. But I could see this being beneficial for a lot of everyone. A lot of everyone, a lot of people. John R. congratulated me that I'm getting close to my um, goal for technology. And Liam Ritchie said, I feel like these live streams are a community college class on credit cards. Professor Doug has a lesson plan, but general questions are allowed. Thank you, Liam. I appreciate that. Sometimes I feel like I'm on the community college level. Sometimes I feel like I'm teaching the graduate level classes, but I try to always have content ready to go so we're not just all sitting around waiting for me to read a comment. John mentions that he and I are planning to do some sort of joint creative project together, like a joint live stream or video, or maybe both. Sometime this summer, we just got to work out a date that is mutually beneficial for our schedules. John only lives about 3 to 3.5 hours away from me. All right, next DUGROZ data point topic. Choice Hotels has devalued their partnership with Preferred Hotels. Bum, bum, ba, ba. I heard a mention of this on Matt Clausen's channel, so hat tip to him. And I also read about it on the 1 Mile at a Time website, so hat tip to them. And basically the idea is Preferred Hotels is sort of a loose affiliation, sort of like Fine Hotels of the World or small hotels and resorts that are not part of a chain, that are rather fancy places that you can book. And they made a partnership with Choice for 4 months or so. You've been able to book those online. Unfortunately, 1 Mile at a Time and others noticed that all the prices have gone up. And because I recently took advantage of this, I actually have a pertinent example. So let me pull that out here and I'll share my screen. Because I'm still using my 8 meg Chromebook, sometimes run a little slowly. So I apologize when I share screen. There's always a brief. Here it is. So we're going to Washington, D.C. this summer, and for the last 3 days of our trip, we're staying here. It's called the Salamander Resort in Middleburg, Virginia, which is just on the western outskirts of Washington, D.C., maybe about 30 minutes west of Dulles area. Very upscale. And for the dates we booked, and I noticed at the time of booking, it was 55,000 points for almost every night. There was a few that were a little higher, a few that were a little lower, but for the most part, 55,000 choice points per night. That's around 27,500 points if you transfer from Wells Fargo or Citi, because they transfer 1 to 2. Well, I went in, looked today, exact same place, exact same dates, and 74,000 points. So mixed emotions there. I'm really glad I booked when I did just about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I locked in that 55,000 points price. But now we're talking 74,000. So because I did 3 rooms and with the kids we had 2 rooms, it was, I'm going to write this down, 330,000 points total for our trip. If I were to make that same booking now, it would be 444,000 choice points. So it went up by over 100,000 points, 114,000 more choice points, or you could think of it as around 55,000 more Wells Fargo or Citi points. That's $550 if you just cash that out. So that's not chump change. I had the value pegged at somewhere between, on the transferable side, the Citi or Wells Fargo side, 3.9 to 3.4 cents per point. And based on this devaluation, it would now be 2.55 cents per point. That's a 35% increase. Some of the properties have gone up as much as 60%. So yeah, I think probably what happened is these properties used to be only bookable by calling in. And then when they released it to be booked online, it became a lot easier. I'm guessing there was a flood of people booking these properties with choice points since February. and the properties probably started complaining whatever their behind the scenes reimbursement rate was from Choice. I bet they felt like it wasn't enough, so they complained. Choice caved in or renegotiated, and now prices are up. So that kind of stinks, but it is what it is. Again, I'm very pleased that I got in when I did so that I had that better cents per point rate. Brian Jackson says, does anybody want to go play Frisbee at the quad? Oh, I get it. We're still going with the college analogy. Brian and I are friends, so I can make fun of him. That's allowed. And you can make fun of me too. Feel free to put it in the comments. Some good-natured ribbing is fine. I'm not sure if you can see it very well here. Let me adjust my camera just a touch. See this globe right here that's rotating? That's called a MOVA globe. It's something I saw on a channel called The History Guy. It's a globe that's powered by magnets and sunlight. There's no batteries involved. So just using the Earth's geomagnetic field, it rotates. There does have to be adequate sunlight for it to do that. But you know, right now I've got some natural light coming in and just a little bit of my big studio lights over here. So if you're wondering what that new addition to my bookshelf is, that's called a MOVA globe. Maybe I'll get a sponsorship with them at some point. Actually, I should put the Amazon link because you can get them on Amazon. I'll save that for another time. Somebody remind me to do that in a future video. Very professorial to have a globe. You know, I'm like Indiana Jones, basically. Okay, let's dive in now to today's main event, or the theme of the day, the perfect wallet that is an 8-card cashback setup. Sharing my screen now. You'll probably notice my mouth will get a little out of sync, sort of like bad Japanese movie dubs. But as long as you can hear me, that's the important part. If at any point you're not able to hear me, please let me know. And if you've not yet done so, please click the like button so we can get more people in here. We've only got 18 right now, which is a little on the low side. Oh, hey, there's Cesar Joel. Thanks for showing up, brother. I appreciate it. And here we go. So in my professorial style, I am going to be PowerPoint here, except my college is too cheap for PowerPoint, so they use the free version of Google Slides instead. The perfect 8-card cashback setup. So we're going to pick 8 cards that I think work perfectly with cashback. And this is a situation where I didn't pick the number 8. I let the data drive me to a conclusion that 8 is all you need. So what was my inspiration for this? Well, the inspiration for this was the Wells Fargo autograph journey. And those of you who have been loyal to my channel for at least 6 months know that around 6 months ago, I started this shift from pure points and miles for travel to a strategy that's more like cashback plus hotels for travel. Now, I will admit the implementation of that has been a lot slower than I thought. It's kind of hard to shift gears from points and miles to cashback. I am gradually doing it. It's just sort of like a grand year-long, 2-year-long experiment. And I haven't even implemented enough to say I have results that are good or bad, but I think it's fun to test. And as Jacob said from Jacob's Points and Profit, very first comment, it's nice to have the kind of points where you can either pick cash back or use it for transfer partners. Wells Fargo has really kind of become the king of that because of cards like the autograph and the autograph journey. Regardless of which card you have, this would also be true of the grandfathered Visa signature card. You don't even have to have a special card to unlock the transfer partner. So it's not like Chase where you have to have an annual fee card like the CSP or the CIP to unlock transfer partners. With Wells Fargo, even if you have just the autograph, which is no annual fee, you can access transfer partners. If you go up to your $95 Wells Fargo autograph journey, you can unlock transfer partners. So I mentioned members only videos, and that one I released yesterday. As I recorded that in my car driving home from work on Tuesday, things just started coming out of my mouth that made me think like maybe this is some sort of cornerstone to that strategy. And the thing that really caught my eye was the 5x on hotels, hotels, hotels. So if you're someone like me that's not loyal to one particular hotel chain, I have my preferences, but no undying loyalty. Um, you could stay at any hotel, even if it's not part of a chain. You could stay at the Town Center Motel in Donaldson, Iowa, which was an actual hotel I stayed at once. I don't think it was called Town Center, but so a long time ago in the early 2000s, I worked for a small Bible college and would travel around as part of my job, travel around the Midwest, not nationwide. And I stopped in Donaldson, Iowa, which is this little town in way southeast Iowa, down the little part that sticks out. And there was a hotel that was called like Jim's Town Center Hotel or something like that. It was like $29 a night. And when I submitted my receipt for reimbursement, the lady who did it was like, "Are you sure this is right? It was only $29 a night?" Because even back in like 2003, that was a cheap hotel. I'm digressing here. So this is a strategy for somebody that just wants cash back. Now, if you want to use it for hotels, great. If you want to use it for something else, that's great too. But there's a lot of frustration in the world of points of miles of things getting complicated. I'm going to take away some of those complications. So using this strategy, there is no need for rotating categories. It's optional. Matt Clausen and John would be very happy. You don't have to worry about rotating categories, but if you want to, you can lean into them. There's no need for gift card buying or any sort of funny business or shenanigans, so you don't have to go to a gas station or Staples, buy a gift card, and use it to pay for your grocery purchases. There's no need for high annual fees. There's not a single card in this setup that has more than a $99 annual fee. There's no need for transfer partners. Again, they are optional. And there's no need for churn and burn. Every single card you're picking up here is a keeper card. It should fit this strategy forever. In fact, I'm not even going to go over the sign-up bonuses. Sign-up bonuses are important. That's how you can earn the most points. But if you're someone that just wants to kind of settle in and be happy with that, you sure can. Thank you for saying I'm still on mute. Okay, I'm going to back up to what I think the last comment was, and you let me know if I missed something. Xavier dropped the super chat for $1.99, and I said, thank you so much, Xavier, and talked about how anything beyond my new computer, I'll get a new phone, I'll get a new microphone. So if you heard that twice, I apologize. And then I addressed this question from TM Cowling, who said, what Bible college? I went to a small Bible college in the Midwest. It was Faith Baptist Bible College, Ankeny, Iowa. My job shortly after I graduated was I would drive around and like meet with donors and say, thank you for donating. Here's a free pen or a free notepad. It was actually my favorite job. It was so awesome. And I didn't know about credit card points and miles back then. They let me use my own cards for stuff. But the problem was that it was a part-time job. So I did the job at Faith, the Bible college, while getting a master's degree from Drake University. So there's your learn about DUGROZ time of the day. And it only paid like $9.18 an hour with no benefits. So awesome job. I love driving around and that kind of stuff. So these are things we don't need. Here's some assumptions about this Walt that I'm going for. First is this person who wants this cashback strategy is going to want to do a bit of travel, simple trips, like driving around Iowa and staying at the Donaldson Hotel. Okay, you can be fancier than that, but I'm not saying you're never going to fly. Obviously, even before I got into points and miles, I usually flew once a year in-laws in Arizona. So, I'd take Allegiant or American's direct flight or those kind of things. About 20 hotel stays per year, averaging $200 each. So when I was driving home and talking about the autograph journey, I thought, okay, excluding my one aspirational trip a year, I generally stay about 20 nights a year in hotels, 3 here, 4 there, 2 there, those kind of things. And 20 is a nice round number, easy to work with. And if I was paying cash, I would probably shoot for an average of about $200. That's $4,000 a year. That's a easy number to work with. Mostly road trips, a little bit of flying's okay. We're not going to be real picky, we're going to stay at the hotel that's in the location where we need to go. I'm going to look for a hotel that's, above Roach Hotel. So it's probably not going to be a travel lodge or a Red Roof Inn. Probably like a Holiday Inn Express, a Hyatt Place, something along those lines suits me fine. And then I'll mix in, something a little nicer, like maybe an Embassy Suites a couple times a year. This is for an average American person, just your typical suburban guy or gal like me in 2018. And why do I say like me in 2018? Well, 2018 was the last full calendar year before I really got into points and miles. And one thing I did in the year 2018 that I'm really glad that I did was I logged all of my purchases. I wouldn't say to the penny, but for the most part, and categorized everything that I could put on a credit card reasonably. Now, obviously, there's some things like, you could use Plastique to pay your mortgage, but there's a fee. Not counting that. In the year 2018, I had $45,700 in expenses that I could run through a credit card. And then what I did was I used the figures from the National the Labor Relations Board, whatever government agency puts out inflation figures, and I used the Consumer Price Index every year from the end of 2018 going into 2024 to figure out what those amounts would be with inflation. It's a little harder to say what category goes where nowadays because I do a lot of funny business. Like I might buy $3,000 worth of gift cards at a gas station for other things. So I can't just do a spending report and say, oh, I spent $7,000 on gas. That doesn't seem right. So instead, what I did is took those 2018 amounts, applied the consumer price index, and it came out to these figures right here, $56,970 in 2024. And then I need to minimize, whoops, sorry, folks. I need to minimize this because my head accidentally cut off that last figure. So I told Excel to round off to the nearest $100 because I like rounder numbers. So if we took what was 45,000 in 2018 would now be 56,900 in 2024. Yikes, that's inflation of $11,000, folks, just since then. And that's just what goes on a credit card. That's not counting like whole family budget. I'm just going to declare myself to be very average. I've talked about this in previous videos. When I look up like national averages, medians, those kind of things for household income, household spending, job stuff, my family is very average. I mean, if you pin us on the middle of the bell curve, that's where it's going to be. So I'm just declaring myself to be an average enough guy that this applies. So while that is 12 categories, we can get all 12 categories accomplished with only 8 cards, thoroughly with only 8 cards. And I think I could probably get even less. Here. Somebody said, John R. said, I need a license to teach as a professor. Well, forget those licensing people. Um, let's see. Keith says 8 cash back cards would make my ADHD brain hurt. If you can manage it, the more power to you. Well, Keith, if you think 8 cards is a lot. Matt says a tune would be a fun late addition. TM Cowling agrees. Matt also says, I knew DUGROZ would come around to the autograph journey. Well, right now I have the plain old autograph. I'm going to be doing some evaluating to see if I should product change that to the autograph journey. I don't know if they would make me wait till the end of my first year or not. I think I got that around August, September. So I'm getting close enough anyway. John R. says, rotating categories can sit on it and spin. Oh, dear. And then like 14 people saying I'm still muted. Maybe I should mute accidentally more often to spur more comments. Yeah. No, you're not going deaf, Frugal Dad. Thanks for being here. All right. John R. No lectern, no license. Managing cards effectively is part of the hobby, says Xavier. Absolutely. All right. Let's keep going here. Number 1, the Redstone Federal Credit Union card. The what card? Well, I think you've heard me mention it before, but some of you may have never heard of this card, so we need to take a time out from the PowerPoint presentation and talk about what exactly the Redstone Federal Credit Union is. So I'm switching my tab here to share a different one. There we go. We have a very happy young lady who's staring at the back of her new credit card, probably admiring her own signature. So Redstone is a small credit union in northern Alabama, and their service area dips to Tennessee a little bit. This is just a card that's super good, even though it's issued by a regional credit union. It is a Visa signature card. In order to join this credit union, you'd have to join, like, you either have to live there or do like a community service group, like Save the Appalachian Trail or something like that. And it's usually $10 to join, and you've joined once and you're good. So you'd have to join the credit union. And I don't have tons of data points, but I've seen a few people nationally who've been able to. A lot of people thought this card would be nerfed over the last year, but so far it hasn't been. This card is a cashback card with no annual fee, and it gives you 5% back on restaurants and gas stations, 3% back on groceries, discount stores. Discount stores is like Dollar General, Dollar Tree, but there's at least 2 data points I've seen that it also works for Walmart. Wholesale clubs, utilities, phone, and streaming services, and then 1.5% cash back on all other purchases. I think this is the ultimate Player 2 card. I've actually got it in line for probably late this summer, my Player 2 to pick this up, because it's a card you can just hand it to her and say, here, spend this on everything. Most married couples that I know, or most households, one of the adults, one of the spouses handles all the finances. And if you're deep into this game, it should probably be you. Like in my household, I pay all the bills. So anything that's like utilities or online purchases, or picking what payment method is pegged to our Walmart.com account, or what payment method is pegged to our Amazon account, or paying doctor's bills online, I'm handling all that. So I don't have to worry about overburdening Player 2 with it. Player 2 is a willing but non-participatory Player 2. If I just say use this credit card, she will. But anything beyond about a 2-card rotation gets kind of overwhelming. And even if I put a label on there that says, you know, use this as a grocery store, Walmart does not count as a grocery store, every once in a while there's a little slip, and whoops, I spent $60 on a card. Walmart's only got me 1% cash back. Now, the most important thing is let it go. Those $50 purchases aren't that big of a deal if you only earn 1% cash back. But with this card, you know, what is my wife doing when she's out and about running errands on a Saturday? She's putting gas in the car. She doesn't eat out a lot, but if she stops with our boys to get some food, that's covered. So gas and restaurants are probably 2 of the biggest ones of her in-person purchases. And then we've got grocery stores. 3% back is respectable. Discount stores like Walmart or Dollar General, very respectable. And then worst case scenario, I'm getting 1.5. Probably not that big a deal. You know, if she stops into Walgreens and gets a $5 photo order and get 1.5% cash back, meh, that's fine. So I love this as a player 2 card just to hand it to them and say, here, spend on this. The intro $150 after spending $3,000 in 90 days. So not real strong, but the strength of this card isn't the sub. The strength of this card is the ongoing spend that comes with it. Redstone Rocks says Frugal Dad, and TM Kelly says people actually sign the back of their cards. I kind of do, kind of don't. Sylvia says the Appalachian Trail freaks me out. I watch too many true crime programming. That's funny because I was just in West Virginia less than a month ago. Nobody hijacked me. I was. DUGROZ reports has marked himself as safe from the roving bands of Hicks in West Virginia. All right, where were we? Back to the PowerPoint presentation. Dining, Redstone Federal Credit Union. So we've got 5x on dining, and I'm going to use the X instead of the percentage. I like the way it looks, but just think about it this way. If you're going to take cash back, 5x equals 5%. I spent, based on my 2018 projections this year, $3,400 per year on dining. That would be $170 of cash back. So we're off to a good start here. Next up is Amazon. So yeah, Amazon is a place that we spend a fair amount of money in my household, both 2018 and presently. I actually canceled my Amazon Prime card at one point, and I'm not really regretting that decision, but maybe just a little bit. One thing I didn't appreciate is the simplicity argument. I think there are ways, if I do a lot of shenanigans and gift card buying, I can come out better than 5%. But I'm becoming more like Stan the Credit Frog. I'm appreciating simplicity more and more. So maybe this will be back in line someday. Maybe player 2 can pick it up and get a whole new bonus. It earns 5x on Amazon purchases, and we're projecting $5,000 a year on Amazon, and that would come out to a nice, tidy, round figure of $250. Number 3, gas. We're back to the Redstone Federal Credit Union card, 5x on gas, and I spend $3,100 per year on true gas station purchases, and that comes out to a cash back amount of $155. Sylvia asked this question: do you have to cash out with one of their accounts at Redstone? Based on what I'm seeing, the answer is yes. So like with most credit unions, when you sign up for a credit union, even if you only intend to have a credit card or a loan, they automatically give you a very basic savings account that's usually called like a membership account or something like that, that gets 0.1% in interest. So when you cash out your Redstone rewards, I think it's a $25 minimum. It has to be cashed out into that Redstone savings account. Technically any Redstone account, but again, since you get one automatically, that's fine. But then you can do an EFT out of there to whatever account you want. So again, not a lot of data points. You'll find them on Reddit and various blogs and those kind of things. But the few data points I have seen, they say it's pretty easy to cash out. It's really not a hassle. Technically, you have to flow it through one of their checking or savings accounts. Boy, my asthma has been terrible lately, folks. So brief asthma break. One moment. Thanks for your patience. Down the Walmart way. Does anyone remember the old commercials from like the early 2000s with people, the Walmart greeters singing? Walmart, 3x at Walmart, also with the Redstone Federal Credit Union card. See how many categories we're covering with this one weird card? $10,000 a year is the amount we have for spend at Walmart. I've got an asterisk there. I'll come back to that in a few moments. That's a cashback sum of a nice, easy to calculate $300 a year. Now, what is that asterisk? Well, with Redstone, they only allow the elevated points earnings, the 3x or 5x as applicable, on the first $7,000 per category per year. and it's 1.5x thereafter. So I'm fudging this one a little bit. I would speculate with very minimal effort, you could still average 3x on your $10,000 throughout the year. And a couple different reasons. Reason number one is because my family at least is getting, we have in the past, and I think in the future we will lean a little more into Costco and or Sam's Club. Actually, a new Costco was built in our town less than a year ago. My wife went with my mom, my mother-in-law, earlier this week and was very impressed because mom has a Costco account where they live. So they consider those two separate categories. So your discount stores, which would be your Walmarts, is different than wholesale club. So I think we've got bandwidth in both places. So even if I shift just $3,000 from Walmart over to Costco, we'd still be fine. And then if you're willing to do rotating categories, I know, don't come at me, Matt and John. If you're willing to do rotating categories, the Freedom Flex, Discover card very frequently have Walmart and Target as one of their quarterly categories. So you just have to shift to them for one quarter and then be done with it, and you'd actually be earning more. So even if you bumped up against that 7,000 a little, the higher earnings would probably offset it. So I feel comfortable sticking with the 3x, $10,300. But if you think I'm naughty, feel free to beat me with a wooden stick. Tariq Gaines asked this question. Amazon Prime is one of my favorite cashback cards with the targeted bonuses in addition to 5x back on Amazon. I guess that was a statement, not a question. What targeted bonuses have you noticed lately? He gives an example right here. I got 10x on gas stations in Q4 of 2022 and have a 2x catch-all bonus until September. Oh, that's nice. So you're earning 7x on Amazon between now and then. Even better. Sylvia uses her Amazon Prime Visa way too much. Xavier says, if the card works at Walmart, will it work at Target? I haven't seen any data points on that, so I just don't know, Xavier. I apologize. Probably. Tariq Gaines says, my go-to Walmart card is the Amex Blue Cash every day. It codes as 3x online retail if you use Walmart Pay. I just upgraded my Blue Cash everyday to a Blue Cash Preferred because I got a targeted no lifetime upgrade bonus of $150, waiving the annual fee in the first year I do the upgrade. But before that, yes, I would sometimes use it on Walmart. The only problem there is it caps at $3,000 a year. So it's helpful, but only for a little while. Tariq Gaines likes the fact that Freedom Flex was mentioned. John R. does not like the fact that Freedom Flex was mentioned and says, you do you, sir. If rotating categories work for you, more power to you. Sylvia says, from July to September, Discover is Walmart and grocery stores. Good info. Thank you, Sylvia. Moving on. Hey, grocery stores. We just mentioned that. And for grocery stores, we're going to pick up and use the City Custom Cash. Probably most of you know that the Custom Cash gives you 5x points up to $500 on one category per billing cycle. So that gets us 5x or 5% cash back. I'm spending $4,400 a year on grocery. This would be non-Walmart grocery stores. So for us living in the Midwest, we're talking Hy-Vee, Aldi, Fairway, until recently Dolls. There's like Price Chopper. I'm sure other places you might have like Bash's or Winn-Dixie, those sorts of more traditional grocery stores. That's $220 of cash back every year. So basically what I'm saying is we buy most of our groceries at Walmart, but there is overflow and overlap into traditional grocery stores of about $4,400 a year. Now, I put these little graphics down in the corner just to kind of, again, a bit of a disclaimer here. $4,400 a year comes out to an average of $367 a month. So I'm definitely under that threshold, but remember the maximum is $500. if you had a month where you're particularly high, or let's say you always do your grocery shopping on a Tuesday, and usually 2 or 3 times a year there's going to be a month with 5 Tuesdays. You do have to watch out for that $500 maximum, and if you did go over, you could switch to your Redstone card and get 3x on groceries. Or you could just say, you know what, I want simplicity. If a couple times a year on maybe $50 to $100 I only get 1x, that's really not a big deal. Keeping it simple, nothing wrong with that. Number 6 is telecom. And for telecom, we have the Chase Inc. Business Cash. And yes, unless you get one of their annual fee cards, you're not going to be able to use this for transfer partners. You're going to have to use it as cashback, but that's okay because this is a cashback setup. Hey, I just noticed we have 45 people on the live stream all at once. If you haven't done so, please click the thumbs up button. Let's see if we can beat the all-time concurrent record, which I think was 53. So what is telecom? Well, telecom would be my cell phone bill, my high-speed internet bill, which I almost said cable, but ours is actually fiber optic. It's a company called MetroNet. If you do have cable, it's that, and it would also apply to your streaming services, your Hulus and that kind of stuff. So that gets 5x on the business cash, and we budget $1,700 a month with that. Now, even with accounting for inflation, I bet we're spending way more than that, because you know what we didn't have in 2018 that I have now? Kids who have cell phones. So it's probably more like $2,500 to $3,000 a year, frankly, because kids with cell phones, Nintendo purchases, that kind of stuff. That would be $85 as cash back, though, sticking with my original projections. John R. says, I know Doug isn't shopping at Walmart Neighborhood Market if he's choosing the CCC because it's Amex Gold for me. Yeah, I agree, John. If I had a neighborhood market, I would do that. But as far as I know, there's not any in the Des Moines area. And there's definitely not one within 10 miles of me. Arnali says, hi, DUGROZ. Welcome aboard, Arnali. Don't think we've met before. I'm super happy to have you. I have the Capital One Walmart card, but sadly, it looks like it's going away shortly. Yeah, I agree with that. I thought about including it in my list, but then I'm like, you know what? Since Walmart and Capital One are getting divorced in the near future, there's no point in recommending a card that's not even going to exist in the near future. In about 45 seconds, some of you are going to have an advertisement. I do apologize. I don't have any control over that. Maybe I can time it with our first intermission. All right, we're working our way towards 12 categories. Number 7 is office supply. We're talking Home Depot, not Home Depot, Office Depot, Staples, that kind of thing. We don't do a lot. I'm not talking gift cards, but we do have a few legitimate office supply purchases every year, like envelopes. There's a specific kind of pen I like to buy, a chair for my desk. If I need to get something for like my headset at work, something like that. 5x on office supply with the same card, the Inc. Business Cash. $700 is all we've got budgeted for that. And that's a nice tidy cash back sum of $35. So given the potential advertisement, this seems like a good place as any to take our intermission, our biology break. So please stay on the live stream. I will be back in about 90 seconds. If you don't have an advertisement, it'll just be staring at a blank screen. I apologize. If you do have an advertisement, please watch it because you're not missing anything and I'll get more ad revenue. Be right back. Hopefully I didn't lose too many people. Matt Clausen says Ink Cash is likely my next card, ? I would encourage you to do that, Matt. Get the ink while you can. Don't be swayed by the Wells Fargo attune, because that'll always be there later. 524 is a thing. Sylvia says, I use my custom cash for groceries. I'd be using my custom cash plus my Discover card from July through September. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Elevator music indeed, John. All right. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5 categories left. Here we go. Number 8 is paid travel, non-hotels. Well, since it was the card that made this whole thing or inspired me for this whole thing, you knew the autograph journey had to make an appearance at some point. So, I need to go back and explain something here before I get into this particular category. I'm going to go back and show you my budget from earlier. So you'll notice in the budgeting, there's 2 categories here that are in italics. Hotels paid and gym and utilities. That's because when I did my original budget in 2018, like I said, I wasn't into points and miles yet. So I didn't think it was important to differentiate hotels from travel in general. So my original budget was actually just like $4,200 for paid travel. I wouldn't even call it paid travel because, again, back then I barely knew the difference between points and paid travel. But what I did was when I modified this for 2024 amounts, I basically took hotel and travel instead of being one ultra category and turned it into 2 categories. So I took 3,200 out of the 4,200, pulled it off of travel in general, and set it aside for hotels. Same thing here. I didn't know about like the U.S. Bank Cash Plus. Oops, I gave one away. So it used to be these 2 categories were combined because I would consider utilities and gym part of everything else. But then I realized, hey, you could actually pay your utilities online, and it makes kind of a big difference. So I segregated these 2 categories out. We already looked at these. All right, the Wells Fargo autograph journey makes its appearance. Travel that is not hotels. You'll be earning 3x on those. Now, I realize if it was airfare, that would be 4x, but the 1x on like a few $100s a year is not going to be a big difference maker. $1,200 budget for that, and that gets you $36 of cash back. And then here's where the autograph journey really shines, and it's hotels. And we're talking 5x, and we're spending or budgeting $4,000 for hotels. Remember, we're doing 20 hotel stays a year, averaging $200 per room, and the math tells me that's $4,000. That's a nice round figure of $200 in cash back. So basically, paying for hotels with this card gets you 1 free hotel stay per year functionally. Number 10 is bills and everything else. And for this example, I have picked the Wells Fargo Signify Business Cash, partially because I like the way it looks. But this is just a 2% everywhere card or 2x everywhere card. They're pretty common. There's nothing special about this, but since I already have the Wells Fargo autograph journey in this mix, I thought it would be appropriate. But if you're just going to be cashing out, you could also pick, you could pick the active cash from Wells Fargo, which is the personal equivalent, functionally the same thing. I like this because it probably doesn't hit your 524 status. Matt, have you verified that yet with the Signify? I'm assuming it never showed on your personal credit report. I'm planning to get this card anyway, probably late summer, early fall. I've got my sign-up bonuses kind of already set up for now. I'm working on an Ink Cash. Ink Preferred. My wife picked up. That's a big one. And then hopefully the Redstone card a little bit after that. And then this guy, third in line for new acquisitions or cards replacing other cards. You could do the Citi Double Cash. You could do the PayPal. Or wait, no. PayPal just dropped to 1.5. Don't do PayPal. Any of the 2x everywhere cards. 2x on everything else. I used to call it bills because I didn't know what to call it, but now I call it everything else. But I wanted to honor my 2018 self, so I left the phrase bills in there. $12,200 per year, and that comes out to cash back of $244. I'm just going to get to the end here since we're getting close, and then I'll catch up on comments. Utilities and gyms. This is a category created specifically for this card, the US Bank Visa Signature Cash Plus card. 5x on non-rotating categories. In other words, you have to go online and choose 2 categories every quarter. I wish they would just automatically make it the 2 where you spend the most, but you do have to actually elect it. I think you can choose your categories up to 30 days after the quarter starts, but make sure you do it every quarter. I get a text message and an email like with a month to go every quarter, so it's really not a big deal. You don't even have to log in. You just click the link in the email. But you do have to elect them. I always choose utilities and gyms because my family, for the first time in a very long time, now has a gym membership. 5x on those. That's $3,700 a year. We've budgeted for these 2 things. Again, this is probably a little on the light side. In 2018, our kids weren't in sports and that kind of stuff. They weren't coming home and taking 2 or 3 showers a day. So our utility bill has gone up, but we'll roll with those original figures anyhow. That comes out to $185 of cash back per year. And then last but not least is pharmacy. Now, a little word of warning. This might seem a little high. My family does have some chronic but stable medical things. We have to spend a lot more on pharmacy than most families. I've also in the past bought things for my parents, like at Walgreens and CVS, because they're in assisted living. They have a lot of medical needs. Like I have to buy a new walker for my dad every year, my mom every couple years. They need just stuff. 3x on pharmacy with your Freedom Flex. We've got $7,500 budgeted to pharmacy every year, which would not just be medicine, but again, just general Walgreens, CVS, Osco Drug type purchases. Does Osco Drug still exist? Cash back, $225. And this is where your optional rotating categories comes in as well. You don't have to use the rotating categories, but it's a no annual fee card. So if you want to, you sure can, even if you only mix it in a little bit. As it relates to the question about does the Signify business for Wells Fargo keep you under 524, Matt responded, I don't know. It didn't pop up in May. I don't expect it to pop up in June. I'm going to be following if I check Credit Karma and Experian way too often. I'm guessing it won't report to your personal credit, but it would be good to have the data point. All right. So here is what we have come up with, or what I have come up with, and you have watched me come up with. We've got this 8-card wallet, and the total is $2,105 over the course of a year from Cashback. And that's not too bad considering this whole setup. Cashback is simple, it's easy, and it's really hard to mess up. Now, this will tell us one thing. $2,105 a year is not going to be enough to do big-time aspirational travel. So if you want to stay in London or Frankfurt or Tokyo and, stay at the Hyatt Regency for an entire week and fly business class, this is not going to get you there. But if remember at the beginning, I said this is for someone who is a pretty average American and just wants simplicity. Let's be honest, most Americans are not getting this far ahead. They're not even getting the free and easy $2,000 a year. My goal in this presentation was simplicity, and someone who does this could always shift gears and become a points and miles person in the future. You've got Wells Fargo's ecosystem started. You've got a great start on Chase's ecosystem. In fact, you would have something of a trifecta. All you got to do is add in like the Chase Sapphire Preferred. You've got a decent start towards Citi. If you add in the double cash later. You can do the junior transfer partners of Citi, like transfer 1 to 1.5 to Choice or something like that. So we've got 5 issuers here, which I wish I could get it down to 4. That seems a little easier to manage for simplicity, but we've got Wells Fargo, US Bank, Redstone, that's 3. These are all Chase, that's 4, and Citi makes 5. But you know what? You could simplify this even more if you wanted to. The Cash Plus kind of stands alone. You could take that out, and then you wouldn't have to worry about US Bank. And you could take out your Citi Custom Cash and just be happy with your 3x on grocery. So if you wanted to just be really simple, you could get down to 3 issuers: Wells Fargo, Redstone, and Chase, and just be happy with those 3. So of this whole situation, you've only got 1 annual fee. It's on your autograph journey, and it's only $95. And because you get that $50 airline credit once a year, you're netting $45. And I know that I said this person has a simple travel setup, but I'm assuming you're going to fly to see grandma in Texas or Arizona or Florida or wherever at least once a year, or you have to go to cousin Jane's wedding in Michigan. You're probably going to spend at least $50 on airfare once a year. So you should be able to net that down to $45. Thinking about the Wells Fargo autograph journey. So remember, we talked about those $200 hotel rooms. $2,105 is enough to cover half of your hotels at $200 each, or 10 out of your 20 hotels. So if you're just a simple person that just wants to road trip it around the country 4, 5, 6 times a year, 20 nights a year in a hotel, well, shoot, by this strategy, you can get half of them for free. I think if you're like RJ from Run on the Bank or RJ Financial, and you did say 4 to 7 cashback bank account bonuses a year, you could easily cover that other half as well. Actually, you're covering a little more than half. You're covering 10 and a half hotel rooms per night with that amount based on our averages. And as the average hotel rate goes up, probably inflation will also go up, so you're spending more money. So I would think it would probably always be right around that area. So I like the Wells Fargo autograph journey for somebody who wants simplicity, for someone who wants to be a free agent with their hotels, and who is okay with cash back. You don't have to be a cashback strategy because, like I said, you can move a lot of these to Choice hotels. And if you want to mix in the flights, you've got British. You can use that for the American trick and those kind of things. You can move it over to Flying Blue and book Delta flights that way. You've got options if you want to kind of gradually move in your points and miles. So I don't know if I was, meeting with a newbie, somebody says, how should I get into the game? I think I'd probably actually have you start here with your Chase cards and then just kind of tell them to grow from there. Now, I said there's only 1 annual fee. That's assuming that you already have an Amazon Prime membership, and who doesn't? All right. So we're looking at which card to use kind of as an overview here. Look how much the Redstone card appears. For dining, gas, and Walmart, you just got your Redstone card. Amazon, you just plug that in and put that in a sock drawer. Utilities is always going to be the Cash Plus. Travel or hotels, you're going to whip out your autograph journey card. Grocery, you got your custom cash. Telecom and office, I wouldn't need to keep that in my wallet because I don't, telecom is all online payments, and office, the 3 times a year I go to Staples and buy a new chair or headset, whatever. I can just bring it with me. Pharmacy would be kind of a case-by-case basis. And then everything else, you've got your Signify business cash. So in terms of your actual wallet, what you're physically carrying with you, you only need 3 cards because you've got your Redstone for when you go to Walmart, when you stop and get food, and when you fill up the tank with gas. And that's most of what I do. You swing by Hy-Vee or Fairway or your average grocery store, you use your custom cash. And then for everything else, use your Signify. Because again, you're going to have things like pharmacy occasionally, or going to Staples occasionally, but not that often. Then things like Amazon and utilities and your gym, that's all online anyway, so it doesn't even matter. So that's a nice simple wallet. You don't have to worry about carrying 3 cards with you. Physical wallet. So there's all the cards, and if you're wondering what the average or weighted average of cashback is, it comes out to 3.7x. You've got things like the 5x Redstone on dining and gas pulling it up. You've got your telecom pulling it up. You've got your groceries pulling it up. Of course, the big one pulling it down is the everything else, because that's a pretty hefty chunk. That was up around getting pretty close to $10,000, pulling that average down. But when you average everything out, 3.7x. And that is the end of the main event. I'll leave that screen up for a while if you want to ask any questions, and I'll get back over here to the questions. Juan Garcia asked, I knew this would come up. Why not include the US Bank Altitude Reserve on the cashback setup? You certainly could add in the Altitude Reserve. I guess I'm going for simplicity more than high averages. I probably would, but I don't know it's a card I would start out recommending, but you definitely could. But again, I'm just going for simplicity, going for true cashback, whereas to get full value on the Altitude Reserve, it's sort of like a modified cashback because you have to buy travel, which you're probably doing anyway if you're staying in 20 hotels a year. Those hotels do have to be at least 150 each to trigger real-time rewards. Tariq Gaines says, I like to keep my annual fees low. I don't think people who are strongly into cashback want annual fees eating at their rewards. I know I avoided annual fee cards when I was on Team Cashback. Yep, I agree. Arnally says, this was a good thought experiment. I started cashback when I started credit cards. Yeah, I think we all probably start with cashback, but like in my case, I moved into points and miles very quickly, like within the first 5 or 6 months. Juan Garcia says, I get it, but the US Bank Altitude Reserve can net a $75 annual fee after using the credit. Thomas Johnson is here. Welcome aboard, Thomas. I don't think we've met before. Just approved for the US Bank Cash Plus card. Awesome. So you've already got 1/8 of the strategy in place, maybe more. Clairvoyant is here and says, RIP, late again. I've been very happy with the AAA Daily Advantage as it gets 5% on in real life Walmart Superstore purchases. You could mix that in too. So I'm assuming based on what you're saying, what I've heard others say, it'll get you the 5% on in-person purchases, but not your Walmart online purchases. All right. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate that. I'm going to stop. We've got actually a truckload of questions for the community tab today. Thank you to all those who decided to participate. There were bunches and bunches. So let me just get to those here. Bear with me. And I'll go from oldest to newest. First of all, every single Friday, with very few exceptions, I will share a community tab question where you can ask me anything, and I'll try to address it in today's live stream. And I will almost always put a picture with it, and you can guess where that picture was taken. So here, and the goal was to guess where this picture was taken. As far as I know, nobody actually guessed it. I was hoping somebody would say the forest moon of Endor, because it does kind of look like some Ewoks are going to pop out at any moment there. But this picture was actually taken at Blackwater Falls State Park, the waterfall that I saw when I went to West Virginia back in April. That's actually my most recent standalone video. It's called something like Country Roads, Take Me Home to Points and Miles, something like that. Obviously, this is the direction facing away from the waterfall. If I put the waterfall, I would have given it away. Oh, hey, my man Xavier has dropped another super chat of $1.99. Says, nice cashback setup you made. Hey, that's 2 super chats from Xavier. Thank you so much, Xavier. I appreciate it. Maybe you'll start a trend. If somebody else wants to mimic Xavier and drop $1.99, I would really appreciate that. Hey, we're up to 54 concurrent viewers. I think we just set a record. It went back to 53. But for a split second, I had 54 concurrent viewers. Celebrate. Celebrate. Thank you, everyone. Sylvia says, someplace one of my True Kind program highlights as the last spot someone was seen, LOL. Oh dear. Specifically that exact state park, Blackwater Falls. Whew. And John reminds everyone to slap the like button. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. All right, so let's go to these cashback questions. I have a question here from Red Wit Dreads. Hi, Red. How you doing? And the question is it bad to redeem my Chase Ultimate Reward points for cash back? I know everyone in the world says you get better value by transferring them to partners, but recently I booked a flight to Trinidad, and I couldn't even use my Chase Sapphire points because it's on Caribbean Airlines, not a transfer partner of Chase. Therefore, I had to pay for it with the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Now I kind of want to redeem my Ultimate Reward points for cash back to cover the $900 ticket. Look, different people are going to tell you different things, Red, but I'm going to give you my take. If that's the best way for you to use your points and it makes you feel good, don't let people guilt trip you into not having good enough value. Something that really stuck with me when I first got into points and miles, I was on a forum, and I wish I could find the comment. I don't remember which forum it was or who said it, but somebody was like, what's the best way to fly from, I don't know, Los Angeles to Chicago with points? I just need to go see some family. And one of the responses was this super nerd, like, you shouldn't use your points to fly domestically. That's a bad value. For example, if you want to fly to Tokyo, Japan, or to Singapore, you can look into, and they listed like 3 different ways to get to Asia and get 10 cents per point. This super long answer. And then the guy came back and his only response was, but I don't want to go to Japan. I want to go to Chicago. So that's always kind of stuck with me. I don't think your goals should change to match the points you have. I think the points you have should accomplish your goals. And now there's some discussion there about, you know, if you want a good value, you can't say, doggone it, I am flying to Chicago on Thursday the 14th, no matter what. Sorry about my hay fever, folks. But yeah, don't feel bad about cashing out your points. Now, I might recommend, it sounds like it's too late now, think about using the Chase Travel Portal, and you should be getting pretty close to 1.25 cents per point if you do that. Now, of course, there's going to be arguments about, you know, well, if you use the travel portal and something goes wrong, you know, you don't have to deal with Chase because they're going to blame it on the airline. The airline's going to blame it on Chase. If you have to cancel travel, I don't think it's too big of a deal. It's only for last minute changes, those kind of things. I think most of the complaints were COVID related when travel portal problems went wrong. Uncle Luke from Luke's Points and Miles has really been leaning into portal redemptions lately. I haven't heard very many horror stories, but I'm sure they exist. But it's something I would be willing to consider. So yeah, cash them out if you want, Red. Personally, I have a rule that points and miles always pay for travel. And what that means is, like, I even have to pay my annual fees with points and miles. I have to pay like food on vacation and tours and activities and museums and parking. If points can't cover it, then cashback rewards have to cover it. Well, my cashback account right now, this is from bank account bonuses and those kind of things, is getting kind of low. It's down to around $800, and I haven't paid the annual fee on my CSR yet. So it's going to dip down to around $300. And then I've got an annual fee on my IHG card issued by Chase. My Aeroplan card just hit its annual fee. And then my wife is getting this Ink Preferred. So I'm going to nearly drain my cash back account before we go on vacation or shortly thereafter. When I do my accounting, I'm going to have to bolster that. So I'm almost certainly going to be cashing out some kind of points, probably $500 or $600 to make that happen. So yeah, don't feel bad. Justin Workman 9250 asked this question. Having just got the Wyndham Business Earner card, would it make sense to get the personal earner just for the sign-up bonus? Is it even possible based on the terms and conditions? Well, first of all, thank you, Justin, for putting your comment online. I'm looking that information up right now. I was up till midnight getting my live stream ready, so I apologize. I was tired last night. I got to a lot of things, but I didn't get to everything. So I'm actually looking up the Wyndham cards right now. Shoot. I was hoping they would have like one screen that showed all three cards, because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what the terms and conditions say. Now, I've never specifically heard anyone say that you're not allowed to get one of the personal cards if you end up getting the business card, but I guess I just plain don't know. I really apologize. Barclays doesn't even show it under travel. What's wrong with you, Barclays? I don't love Barclays as an issuer. Okay, I'm gonna have to get an answer soon before this gets really boring. I might have to give you a rain check on that one. I think it could make sense, but you'd want to wait until the sign-up bonuses maybe at an all-time high, or at least an elevated offer. I think it's at like 40,000 right now on the personal card. Let me look that up here. If anybody knows, put it in the comment section. That would be great. Oh my word. Okay, I give up. It's just taking too long to load. So sorry, I don't know that one, Justin. I might have to give you a rain check and see what I can find out. Robert Gonzalez 6313 asks, based on your experience with Wyndham points, would you prioritize reaching the $11,000 spending threshold to unlock the extra welcome bonus of 50,000 points? Well, that's a good question. And I guess we're on a Wyndham kick here. So let's just do a little math here. So I value Wyndham points at 1.25 cents per point. I think that's pretty conservative. And I'm going to be using them either for cottages.com or for Vacasa's. I know Vacasa took a little bit of a haircut when they put the 250, 500 threshold in play. You used to be able to get theoretically unlimited cents per point, but it was pretty easy to get 2, 3, 4 cents per point. Now you're capped at something like 1.98 cents per point. I don't remember the exact figure. But 50,000 times 0.0125 is $625. I'm going to divide that into 11,000. That is a 5.7% return on spend. That's really borderline, Roberto. And it's sort of like, I think banks know when they know the amount. I mean, have you ever done the math, like where the break-even threshold is? A lot of credit cards and airlines and those kind of things end up being kind of similar. So like if that was everyday spend, I would say that's pretty good. Actually, something I didn't account for is when you spend $11,000, you're actually going to be, even if it's only 1 point per dollar, you're actually going to be getting 11,000 points. So I need to do my math again here. Sorry. 50,000 times 0.0125 is 625, and then I'll get an extra 61,000. Sorry. $762. Divide that into 11,000 of spend. It's going to be right around 7% ballpark. I'm going to stand up, folks. My back is hurting. I have a sit-stand desk, so it'll kind of like you're watching me ride the elevator here. But I would say, yeah, that's worth doing. At 7% return on spend and just what you get, especially if you can manage to hit any of those at the gas stations or utilities, then that's only going to get better. So yes, I would say it's worth it, Roberto. Thank you. Um, David William is here. Hi, David. Don't think we've met before. Glad to have you on board. Custom Cash, Double Cash, City Rewards, Autograph Signify, Venture One, Saver One, and built for the 8-card, no annual fee points card setup. That sounds like a pretty sharp setup there. Although I wouldn't consider built to be a cashback card per se. I wouldn't consider the Venture One to be a cashback card per se. But if you're doing more of a hybrid thing, go for it. Sylvia says, I'm sorry, I think I missed it. Did you say you use part of your cash back to pay your annual fees? I sure did, Sylvia. So I take a Sharpie, a big fat Sharpie marker, and I make a thick black line. Over here is my family budget, and over here is my travel budget, and they do not commingle. My family budget doesn't pay for 1 penny of travel. So when I have expenses on vacation, whether it's in the booking process or things we do on vacation, I have to pay for that with my rewards. Now, that can be cashing out points for a penny each. That can be tricks like using the US Bank Altitude Reserve to cover things like rental cars that you can't normally cover. It can be things like the Aeroplan trick where I'm paying myself back. I might use my Venture X card and use the Travel Eraser if I take a boat tour. A lot of it comes from when I do bank account bonuses. If I earn $300 from a bank account bonus, it goes into my Charles Schwab travel savings account, money market account. And then when it's time to travel, I pull it out of there. And of course, I get a little bit of interest on it, but not a lot. So that's how I roll. That's kind of my thing. Sylvia asked, do you know if you can status match from an IHG Platinum to a comparable Wyndham status? I think so. I think Wyndham's pretty generous with status matches. However, since I have the Wyndham Earners Business Credit Card, I automatically get their best status. Dropped my pen. If anybody knows with certainty, let us know. Guna Diver is here. Welcome back, Guna Diver. 4 city cards. This is confusing because I want to say Chase Sapphire Preferred, but City Strata Premier. Couldn't you have picked different initials, City? City Strata Premier, Double Cash, Custom Cash, Sears Thank You Point Card, 22,000 points for spend of $2,000 combined, groceries, dining, gas, Walmart, Target equal 11x. These cover most categories with cash back or transfer partners. I'm curious how you're getting 11x on Walmart and Target with that setup. I'm probably missing something here, Guna Diver, but let me know. Do they even still offer that Sears card, or is it discontinued? Because I would be very interested if I could do that. Chris V is on board. Hi, Chris. How you doing? And Chris says, just got denied for the Wyndham business due to too many cards open in 24 months. Oh, that's a shame. Bump, bump, ba, ba. I got approved right away, but I have heard people say that it is kind of hard to get approved for. All right, back to the community tab questions. Roberto Gonzalez also asked this question. Considering the versatility of a catch-all card, would you prioritize earning 2x points or receiving 2.625% cash back rate through the Bank of America Platinum Reward System? And I'll briefly clarify what Roberto is referring to as I understand it. So Bank of America also owns Morgan Stanley. So if you have $100,000 of combined assets between Bank of America and Morgan Stanley, you get whatever their best status is called. I think it's called Platinum Honors or something like that. And that could be something as simple as an IRA, like if you left your job and rolled your 401k to an IRA, and that IRA has at least $100,000 in it. I'm not saying everyone can do that, don't get me wrong. But, you know, if you're 40 or 50 and you worked a decent job, that's certainly possible. You can get those Platinum Honors. Well, first of all, you have to commit yourself to that bank, and whether or not you're comfortable with that, I'll leave that up to you. I'm not in that position. I've worked for the same employer for a long time, so my 401k money is somewhat stuck in my 401k, and I certainly don't have enough personal assets outside of that to come up with $100,000. However, having said that, just for the sake of playing along, let's say that I did have that, or at least could easily obtain it without, incurring any, and I was comfortable with what they had to offer. So the question is, would I rather have 2x points, or would I, like with the Wells Fargo Signify with Citi Double Cash, or would I rather have 2.625% cash back? If you put me in a corner and said I could only have one, I would choose the 2x points on everything, because, like that preferred hotels, before they devalued it, I locked in somewhere between 3.19 and 3.44 cents per point on the Citi side of things. So while Citi or Wells Fargo points are variable, and I might beat 2.625, with cash back, it's always worth what it's worth. A penny is worth a penny. A dollar is worth a dollar. So again, force me to choose. I would say I would go with points. However, in real life, I would say, why not both? I would actually be willing to have both and do something of a hybrid strategy. When points are running low, I'd work on points. When I was in a position like I'm in now, where I need cash back, I would take the 2.625 on everything. Great question, Roberto. Thank you. William Pinkett, 3829, asked this question. What credit card denial hurt the most? Was it the Citi Double Cash? Oh, thank you for asking. A little salt in the wound today. Just kidding. I like the question, actually. I've only been denied for 3 credit cards ever. And the first one I was denied for was the IHG business card from Chase. And at the time I applied, I was over 524. This was like 3 years ago, and it was kind of an experiment. I later went under 524 and did get approved. So that one didn't really hurt. The second one I got denied for was the Citi Double Cash. And then the third one that I got denied for was the Chase Inc. business. Is either the cash or unlimited, one of the two. I was just trying to churn a bit. And I was also over 524, but I saw so many data points from Anthony Venture and others. I think Josh Giebel was one of them, saying they got over 524 approved. I thought maybe I will too, but I even called Recon. They wouldn't let me in. So that one hurt in terms of dollar earnings. But I think emotionally or deep down, the Citi Double Cash hurt the most, because it's the only denial I've had that wasn't 524 related. And with 524, there's a good chance. Whereas this one was just I'm sorry, Mr. Rose, we just can't approve you. You have too many cards, or too many cards lately, kind of thing, with nothing real firm. Plus, it was the last piece of the puzzle that I needed for my Citi quadfecta. Meh. So yeah, that was the one I disliked the most. Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. Guna Diver says the Sears Thank You Points card is discontinued and codes both Walmart and Target supermarkets. So those all pool thank you points. 2 thoughts. One is that's awesome. And 2, I'm super jealous because I would love to get that card. Man. Too bad it's discontinued. Sylvia says Barclays has, I think, an unofficial 624 rule. They are a tricky issuer to deal with. David Williams says Bank of America owns Merrill. Did I say Morgan Stanley? Oops. Merrill Lynch is what I meant to say. Same concept. Thank you for clarifying, David. Guna Diver also says my hybrid setup includes the 4 Citi cards and WREB. I don't know what that is. Built, and the Amex Schwab personal card. Amex Schwab Platinum card. Sorry. Thomas Hapiuk is on board, a big-time DUGROZ diehard. Thank you for being one of my channel members, Thomas. I appreciate it. Says, I love your analysis. Sorry, I'm late. Don't worry. The video will still be here for you to watch after the fact. Guna Diver says, my Citi and Amex setups are cash transferable points, flexibility. I do like flexibility. I just am not in a position right now where I can justify the Charles Schwab card because of the annual fee. Hopefully someday I will get there. All right, let's keep going with the questions. Jack2 or Jock2, Jaktu. Thank you for asking a question. Ask this question. Between IHG and Choice, which do you think is a better as a whole package? Credit cards, point redemption, availability, etc. for a family who takes just one beach vacation every 2 years or so, but may on occasion have to stay at a non-beach stay. Again, I like the why not both approach because I'm going to cherry pick and find the best. Having said that, if you forced me to decide, I would decide on IHG for a couple reasons. Choice has a lot of these like filler hotels down at the bottom that I'm probably never going to choose. Like, what's their super low end one? Is it Roadway Inn or is that somewhere else? So you do find a lot of gems with Choice, but you also find a lot of clunkers. I did a video about road tripping with Choice Hotels, and when I wanted to hypothetically go to the Gulf Shores area, like Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, around the Gulf Coast, I only found one pretty good hotel that was right on the beach. Now, I haven't looked at like the Atlantic side. I haven't looked at the Pacific, those kind of things. I haven't looked at Hawaii. But I feel like IHG is going to have, you're going to have a better hitting percentage with those mid-scale to slightly above mid-scale hotels. Not the Waldorf Astorias of the world, but like the Embassy Suites equivalent of the world. So IHG would have a notch above that. They would have Intercontinentals, and they have Kimptons. I know Choice has the Ascend properties, but I found those are in kind of weird places sometimes, like in a suburb, or like there's one in Davenport, Iowa, which is like next to a casino, just kind of in the middle of nowhere. So I think IHG is going to hit better. You can sometimes get better redemptions with Choice, but IHG has the fourth night free. So I'm assuming if it's a beach vacation and the occasional non-beach stay, you're going to use the fourth night free occasionally. You can also use a cashback setup and buy your IHG points. You're going to have your IHG either personal or business card with one free night a year, and that pays for itself. I have found the free status that comes with the IHG card, I think it's called Platinum status, is not the highest, and it doesn't automatically get free breakfast, but you do get a free welcome amenity. The last 3 times I've stayed at IHG hotels that don't have a buffet, they have offered me free breakfast as an option for my welcome amenity for my whole party, my wife and kids, and once with just me and the kids. So, I mean, that right there is easily $40 to $50 in value. It can't guarantee it, but it has worked out that way. You've got your Holiday Inns, which is sort of a nice, whatever you call above entry level, but not super fancy. So I think IHG fits a little bit better if you were to make me choose, but I like doing both so I can cherry pick even more. Thank you. I appreciate that. Over here in the comments, let's see. Oh, Guna Diver says Wyndham Rewards Earners Business Card is the WREB. Thank you for clarifying that. I hadn't picked a nickname for that card. Wareb. QC Man 2000 is on board. Welcome, Quality Control Man. Would you be able to get the Schwab Platinum with a bonus? I thought you've had the Platinum before. Nope. My wife has had the Platinum. My mom has had the Platinum. I've never had the Platinum, the personal gold, or the personal green card. I've had the business Platinum. I've had the business green. I've had the business gold. So I'm actually saving those for kind of my end game strategy. Well, first of all, I got to get out of pop-up jail. You know how I said I've only been denied for 3 cards ever? Kind of depends on what you mean by that, because, the way Amex does it with the pop-up jail, you can just bail out of your application, which I do. I've been in pop-up jail for like a year now, so I can't get anything unless it's a targeted no lifetime language offer. But hopefully someday, when I'm gardening, when I've put plenty of natural spend on my cards and they finally unlock that door and let me out of pop-up jail, I'll start with the personal green card, then I'll move on to the personal gold, then I'll move on to one of the personal platinums. And if I were to pick up a personal platinum it may not be where I start because the sign-up bonus might be better on the vanilla, but I would strategize to end up with the Charles Schwab. I would save up a truckload, like more than 500,000 Amex points, and then just cash them out. That would be my strategy. Thank you. QC Man's a big-time DUGROZ diehard. Remember to join, only $3 a month. And if you join while the live stream's ongoing, we have a little party. It pops up and we can celebrate. Guna Diver loves Intercontinentals. Fourth night free. IHG's on the radar. Yeah, and like Guna Driver said, I'm going to take the ladder, green, gold, platinum. I wouldn't go the other way because family language. We've got a couple more community questions, then we'll wrap it up here. Uncle Luke himself from Luke's Points and Miles asked this question. Doug, for Cashback, how do you feel about credit union cards? Lots of gems in that space. Well, there was one credit union card we talked about a truckload today, Luke. Of course, he didn't have any way of knowing that when he asked the question. That was the Redstone Federal Credit Union card, so I feel very good about that one. There's also a local credit union here in Iowa called the Green State Credit Union that gives 5% back on, I think, all airlines and hotels with no annual fee. Now, it doesn't have any protections of any kind. Like the Autograph Journey isn't a great protection card, but at least it has like secondary car rental. It has baggage delay. It has trip interruption insurance. It has the accidental death and dismemberment. But yeah, I could go get a credit union card. Unfortunately, it's personal, so it would pull away from 524. I could go, a mile away from where I live and get a credit union card that gives me 5% cash back on all hotels and airlines for no annual fee if I wanted to. My dad has the PenFed card, the one that's weird and gives like 0.85 cents per point. So it's 5x on gas, but it's really like 4.25 on gas. You have to redeem it with gift cards. So my dad has that one. That's a pretty good card. So yeah, I'm good with credit union cards. I'm not philosophically opposed to them. I'm gardening right now, so I'm being careful with those. And here is a community tab question from Yan Luo, or Yuan Luo, Y-A-N-L-U-O. I apologize if I mispronounced that. With the new Wells Fargo card, and I think we're talking about the Attune card here, 4 on a bunch of things, do you still consider the U.S. Bank Altitude Reserve the best for Disney cruises? Ooh, that's a good question. And there's a second question coming. So I joined my DVC Points alter ego of Chad Pennycuff, one of my diehards, on the YouTube about a month and a half ago. And the point of that was me and Stan the Credit Frog talked about how for Disney, the U.S. Bank Altitude Reserve is the ultimate card because there's no transfer partners that transfer to Disney. So if you're buying like a Disney cruise or Disney tickets, it's probably just best to use the real-time rewards feature, or if nothing else, you're earning 3. Since the Attune came out and said that it does give 4x for no annual fee on amusement parks, and they even list Disney, both the theme park admission fee as well as the parking charges, I would assume it would apply to cruises also. Actually, it might not, because I don't know how that codes. So for Disney theme parks, I think, yeah, I would probably switch to the Attune. But for the cruises, I'd probably stick with the Altitude Reserve. You're probably going to earn. So what I might do is basically a hybrid of both. I would get both, the Altitude Reserve and the Attune. Boy, you kind of caught me off guard there. I mean, it's not your fault. I could have looked at it last night. I need to do more thinking on this. That might actually warrant a video all by itself. So if you're watching this either now or after the fact, Chad Pennycuff, maybe we can get together again and have that in the mix. Second question from Yuan is, what's your go-to card when buying stuff wanting extended warranty? Many, many thanks. Right now, it's the Surpass card, which is a Hilton card issued by American Express. Anytime I'm making like a durable goods purchase, like a microphone, or I don't know why I'm holding up a calculator. This is like $10. Like my son bought a guitar, and it's got like the accident protection. By the way, let's stay tuned on that, because he actually damaged his guitar, and I filed an accident claim with Amex for their accidental damage, because it was in the first 90 days, and I'll see how that goes. There's a little bit of a question there because it says it does not cover intentional damage. What happened is he got angry and threw his phone across the room. He wasn't trying to hit the guitar. He was trying to hit his brother because he was upset. Hopefully you don't think I'm a terrible parent. They have been sufficiently scolded. And missed, and the guitar was laying in the box, but with the lid open, and hit the guitar and cracked it. So that was a hard lesson learned. That was like a $280 purchase that he'd been saving up for. We'll see if Amex comes through on it and will pay for the repairs or not, because it was intentional in the sense that he threw the phone on purpose, but he didn't mean to hit the guitar. So it was not intentional in that sense. So we'll just see how things go. So anytime I'm buying like a big durable good, like computer, appliance, washing machine, guitar, I always put down one of the Amex cards, and I think there's several that have the extended warranty and the return protection, or not return protection. I think they did away with that. Let me know if you know for sure. But I know at a minimum they have the extended warranty where it gives you 1 extra year on the warranty, and then the 90-day damage protection thing. I mean, if I get, let's say the repair is $150, that pays for the entire annual fee of the Surpass card for the entire year. So definitely worth doing. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. We ordered it from a place online called Sweetwater Sound and Sweetwater Instruments, and it did code as an online retail. So 4X instead of 3X. Thank you. Appreciate that. QC Man says, is there no way to redeem PenFed for more than 0.85 cents per point, or is that the ceiling? I have not found a way. I think that is the ceiling. So I think like if it's advertised as 5X on gas, it's really 4 1/4 on gas. Let me know if you find out differently. We're getting close to the end here. All right, I think this is the last question. And it comes from my brother from another mother, Cesar Joel. And he asked this: Chase cards are more outdated as time passes when compared to Amex, Capital One, Citi, and Wells Fargo. Do you think we will see some changes from Chase this year, or too big to care? Keep up the great work, Hermano. Yeah, I've heard some of my colleagues kind of bashing on Chase recently. I will say some of that bashing is justified. Now, one thing I like about Chase, and it's not sexy, but let's just say it like it is. It's easy to earn lots of points with Chase. That's why I like rotating categories. That's why we have 4 rotating category cards in my household, 2 Freedoms, 2 Freedom Flexes. And right now it's not super, there's no way to max up your dining purchases, but when it's grocery, when it's gas, when it's pharmacy, dun, 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 we are really racking up those points. Churning ink cards is probably one of the best way to earn lots of points in a short amount of time. And that's where Amex and Chase really shine. You can earn lots of points quickly. Even with, Amex putting me in pop-up jail. My wife got a no lifetime language offer for the Business Platinum, 150,000 points. Don't know if we'll take it, but we might, just because it's 150,000 points. If they're willing to send us the mailer, we'll take the points. So do I think they will launch changes? I think at some point they're going to feel like they have to. I don't think they will be dramatic. But even something small, like if the Sapphire Preferred changed online grocery to just grocery, that would be kind of a big deal. So I think they'll make some changes, but I don't think they'll make a lot. Plus, they have Hyatt in their back pocket. They know they've got Hyatt locked down. I do expect a Hyatt high-end personal card to come out sometime. Matt speculated that the JP Morgan Ritz-Carlton card would be reopened to new applicants in the near future, and I think that might happen, but I wouldn't look for big changes. I would just look for small changes. I do agree Wells Fargo is rocking it, and at least Capital One and Citi have definitely been put on notice with them. Sylvia said, I didn't know the Hilton cards offer the purchase protection. They do have that 90-day accidental damage protection. I don't know if they have purchase protection. I don't think they do anymore. They used to have purchase protection. Like, let's say you buy the guitar for $300, and a week later it goes down to $250. You can file a claim with them to get your $50 back. I'm pretty sure they don't have that anymore. Matt Clausen says Amex card earning is just outdated as Chase. John R says, as an Amex fanboy, Amex can definitely improve a few cards. Video coming. Roger that, John. Maybe when we get together, we should have a debate, like, you know, 2 podiums side by side. And you can be at the Chase sucks podium, and I can be at the Chase is pretty good podium. Although the truth is really somewhere in the middle. QC Man says, agreed. You can earn tons of points with Amex too, but the inks allow you to do that all without an annual fee. Advantage Chase. I agree. All right. With time permitting, there's only one thing I wanted to go over, and that was to thank my DUGROZ diehards, and I'm going to list them off here. Everyone who's joined. And as Homer Simpson once said, these people looked deep within my soul and assigned me a number based on the order in which I joined. And in order, the DUGROZ diehards are David Hamilton, Jacob Hess, Kevin Ellis, Scott Saul, Filmo78, and Sean D. All of those folks joined right away and have been DUGROZ diehards for 7 months. We also have Chad Pennycuff, the One CEO, Zachary Hageland, AJB, AP, and Matt Clausen, who all joined 5 to 6 months ago. Then we have Ryan Siebers, Robert Jarrell, John R., Cedric, Evan, QC Man 2000, Manuel Jimenez, Tom Graber, Juan Garcia, who joined 2 to 4 months ago. And last but certainly not least, because I welcome new people on all the time, Bianca Calbert, Thomas Hapiuk, and Get Shugaten Shot have all joined within the last 30 days approximately. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. If you want to, you have one last chance to drop a super chat and smash the thumbs up button. I appreciate you. Let's do the record of the day, and then we'll shut her down. We're already at 147. This is one of my longer live streams. So what's on my record player today is Elton Britt, The Singing Hills. Elton Britt is a country music star that was popular back in the 50s and 60s. I like the fact that when it first came out, this record was only 59 cents or 2 for $1. Wait a minute. That's a sticker. It's not original. I apologize. Although it's pretty old looking. At Goodwill, it was, I think, $1, $1.50, something like that. There's no copyright date on the back, so I don't know when it was released. But again, 50s, 60s. I kind of like him. One part I don't like is he gets into like the yodeling thing. Sometimes it seems a little forced, but I kind of like it overall. I think I'll keep it. Sometimes I will buy records just on taking a risk. I don't know if I'll like it or not, and about half of them I end up liking and half of them I don't end up liking. That's all. Thank you so much for joining in. And if you haven't had a chance, please click the like button. Thank you to the DUGROZ diehards for your undying support. And as always, may your spending be frugal and may your points be plenteous. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.